Have you ever left a work meeting just feeling off, kind of confused, maybe a little anxious, and second-guessing everything you said? Well, today we're going to pull back the curtain on two really toxic patterns that cause that exact feeling. We're not just going to give them a name, we're going to show you what to do about them.
You know that feeling, right? Walking on eggshells? It's exhausting. But here's the thing, it is not just part of the job. It's a huge red flag that something is off in the way people are communicating. That constant need to second-guess yourself, that's not a personal flaw. It's a totally normal response to a toxic environment.
So this professional self-doubt, it doesn't just pop up out of nowhere. Nope. It's usually caused by these invisible forces at play. But by giving these patterns a name, we can start to see them for what they really are. And that's when we take their power away.
Okay, so we're going to focus on two big culprits today. They've got specific names: reactive abuse framing and gaslighting. I know, they might sound a bit like psych textbook terms, but they describe some very real and very damaging experiences. And trust me, understanding how they work is the absolute first step to getting your confidence back.
So let's really dive in and break down this manipulative cycle, piece by piece. First up, let's talk about something called reactive abuse framing.
Reactive abuse framing, it is such a cunning tactic. Here's how it works. Someone pokes and prods you, again and again. They push your buttons. And when you finally, and understandably, react with some frustration or maybe even anger, they point at your reaction and say, "See, you're the problem." The focus is completely yanked away from their bad behavior and placed squarely on your response.
Okay, here's a classic workplace example. Picture this. A manager is just piling on impossible demands one after another. The employee is totally overwhelmed and finally, they speak up, maybe with a little frustration in their voice. And what happens? Suddenly, the conversation isn't about the insane workload anymore. No, now it's about the employee's unprofessional tone. The manager's actions get a free pass and the employee's reaction becomes the entire problem.
Now, the other piece of this toxic puzzle is workplace gaslighting. And this one is a bit more subtle. It's this quiet form of manipulation that's designed to make you question your own reality. The goal is to slowly, systematically chip away at your confidence until you start doubting your own memory, your perception, even your professional judgment.
And I bet you'll recognize some of these tactics. That flat-out denial of "I never said that," when you know they did. Or the classic dismissal, "Oh, you're just being too sensitive." Or maybe a manager withholds key info and then blames you for not having it. See, on their own, they might seem small, but when they're all happening together, it feels like a constant assault on your sense of what's real. And here's where these two tactics lock together into this really devastating cycle. It starts with the manipulation, right? The gaslighting makes you feel confused, makes you doubt yourself. That constant stress naturally leads to a reaction. You get frustrated, you get defensive, and bam, that is the exact moment the manipulator was waiting for. They grab onto your reaction and they frame it as the real problem. This just reinforces your self-doubt, making you think, wow, maybe they're right, maybe it is me. And just like that, the cycle starts all over again, only this time it's even stronger.
So, the big question is, how do you know if this is actually happening to you? Let's walk through a few questions. And as you listen, just try to be really honest with yourself.
Just think about your work interactions lately. Do you find yourself constantly replaying conversations in your head, wondering if you misread something or if you said the wrong thing? That persistent self-doubt, that feeling that you might be overreacting, that's a core symptom of being gaslit.
And what about when you do bring up a legitimate concern? What happens? Is the problem actually addressed, or does the focus immediately shift to your delivery? If the conversation always ends up being about your tone instead of the topic, that's a classic sign of reactive abuse framing.
The long-term damage from all of this is just brutal. You could be a top performer, you could be totally confident in every other area of your life, but this kind of environment just makes you feel incompetent. This slow erosion of your professional confidence, that's the ultimate goal of these toxic dynamics.
All right, now we need to do something that's a little difficult, but it's so important. We've got to turn the mirror on ourselves. It's actually possible to contribute to these dynamics without even realizing it. So let's take an honest but compassionate look at our own behaviors.
Ask yourself this, and really think about it. When someone has a strong reaction to something you said or did, where does your focus go? Do you immediately start critiquing how they're reacting, or do you pause for a second and consider, what did I do that might have caused that?
And let's be real about this one. Have you ever used that phrase, "you're being too sensitive"?
It's such a powerful way to just shut down a conversation, right? It lets you dismiss someone's feelings without ever having to actually address what their concern was in the first place.
This brings us to a really crucial idea: the difference between impact and intent. You might have had the best intentions in the world, but that doesn't just erase the negative impact of your actions. Real accountability starts when we can acknowledge the other person's experience, no matter what we intended to do.
Okay, we've identified the problem. We've looked in the mirror. Now for the most important part. What do we do about it? Let's get into some concrete, actionable steps you can take, whether you're on the receiving end of this or you realize you might need to change your own behavior. If you're the one experiencing this, here is your action plan. Number 1, document everything. Dates, times, direct quotes. This isn't just for HR, it's to keep you grounded in reality. 2, trust your gut. Your perceptions, your feelings, they are valid data points. If something feels wrong, it probably is. 3, start establishing boundaries. A great way to do this is to insist on written communication, like a follow-up email confirming what was said in a meeting. This creates a paper trail. 4, build your support system outside of the situation. Talk to trusted friends, colleagues, or even a therapist. You need that outside perspective. And finally, number 5, know your rights. Look up your company's policies on bullying and harassment.
And hey, if you recognize some of your own behaviors in those earlier questions, here's your growth plan. It starts with having the courage to just acknowledge the pattern without getting all defensive. Then, you've got to truly accept the impact your actions have on others, no matter what you intended. From there, you practice active accountability. That means listening to understand, not just to argue back. And finally, you have to actively seek feedback from people you trust to make sure you're really making positive, lasting changes.
You know, the shift from a toxic to a healthy dynamic often boils down to these small but incredibly powerful changes in language. So instead of attacking someone's character by saying, "You're so disrespectful," you focus on the specific behavior. "I felt disrespected when you interrupted me." You see that? That simple switch from attacking who they are to addressing what they did can completely transform a conflict into a problem you can actually solve together.
Ultimately, the big goal here is to build a psychologically safe workplace. And what is that? It's an environment that's built on a foundation of clear communication and mutual respect. It's a place where leaders don't just demand accountability from everybody else, they model it themselves every single day. It all really comes down to a journey, doesn't it? Recognizing these toxic patterns, that's the first step out of the darkness. And then committing to healthier communication, that's the hard work of clearing a path forward. But the result is an environment where everyone can finally stop just surviving and actually start to thrive.
So I'll just leave you with this question to think about. No matter what your role is, what's one small change you can make tomorrow to help build a workplace where reality is shared, not questioned, where reactions are met with curiosity instead of criticism? Because that's how we build a place where everyone can finally do their best work.